It's true. Bamboo bedding is dreamy to sleep on. That's why Quince aptly named their Bamboo Dream Quilt Set. Coming in 12 colors, you're absolutely going to love this quilt and 2 shams set. Starting at the softest of pinks and going all the way to a dark navy. It's going to be perfect for anyone's room. Your own, your guest rooms, your kids' rooms, maybe even back to the dorm bedding. Quince has everything you need to elevate your space, from bedding to soft organic towels, airy curtains, and premium kitchen tools designed for everyday use. And of course, as you know, Quince has gorgeous cashmere and other wardrobe essentials. And the best part, Quince's products are half the cost of similar brands. They partner with top artisans and cut out the cost of the middleman, passing the savings on to us. Thank you, Quince. And they only work with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, so you can feel good about your purchases from Quince. Elevate your space with home essentials from Quince. Go to quince.com/DTT for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/DTT to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/DTT.
Today, we are going to take it to the max, baby. Hi, I'm Anita Joyce here with Kelly Wilkness, and this is Decorating Tips and Tricks.
There's definitely a very clear line between being a maximalist and just having too much stuff. So we're going to discuss that as well. Not only the quantity makes you a stylish maximalist.
The last 10 years, it's been out of fashion. We've been more toward the minimalist end, but now the pendulum that we always talk about is swinging the other way.
And this is not easy to do. I think it's a little bit harder than the pared down look, although that is has its challenges as well. But it is easier to not put things in or to take things out and have a very simple, minimal decor than getting maximalism right. Because as I said earlier, it is just not about having more stuff and just piling things in a room. That is not style. That's just having lots of stuff and piling things in a room. So we're going to give you tips today on how to be a maximalist really well, become a maximalist, or just dip your toe in, because you don't have to go all the way. I know I love things. I love furniture. I love decor. I love textiles. But would I categorize myself as a true hardcore maximalist? No, because I do like negative space and I do like a quiet moment. So I'm going to say, Anita, that I think I'm less of a maximalist than you, maybe.
Well, and I wouldn't call myself a maximalist either. I have those tendencies, and I'm adding more to my house as I'm just having fun with things. But I wouldn't call myself really a maximalist, because I too like negative spaces.
When I think of your china cabinet, now chock-a-block with your friends in there.
Well, and to be clear, I do not have a china cabinet. I have some armoires that I use to store dishes. And I'm going to have to show you the picture of my new sofa console, because it has shelves.
Ooh.
And it's now full of all my plates. So now I can just go over there, see all my plates. Well, not all of them, but a lot of different patterns, and choose the one I want. And they're all kind of out there in the open. So it's going to be great until a 3-year-old comes. And then I don't know what's going to happen. But
well, let's not worry about that for a while, I don't think, right? No worries there for a while. So, yeah, use that photo then. I want to see that. Use that for the show notes. But yes, and I didn't mean to use the word china cabinet or the term china cabinet, but
no, I don't
in general, your gorgeous armoire transformed into a holder for all your friends. So why go maximalist? It's joyful. Do you hear the joy in Anita's voice when she's talking about adding more things? It adds a real personality to your space. It lets you indulge in palettes and different colors and patterns, and it has a playfulness to it that is really, really, it just makes you happy.
Well, it does, but it's like you said, I mean, it's really about one thing you often do in maximalism is add lots of patterns. And that can be done very well, but you really do need to know what you're doing, because you can't add a lot of patterns that are all of the same scale and all have lots of colors. I mean, they need to play well together, I guess is the way I would phrase it. They don't have to match. They don't have to have been made to go together, but they need to play well together. And you don't want to have any clashing going on.
Right. So let's refer everyone to some of those great episodes that we have about mixing patterns and using patterns together, and they'll learn about the 60-30-10 rule and all of that good stuff. And if you're new to mixing patterns, a really easy way to dip your toe into this skill, really, and take you on the road to becoming a maximalist is checks and stripes. That's such an easy start. And then you've got those two, and then you can add a big pattern to that if you're feeling even bolder. So that's going to get you a long way, but that's just an easy start. It's not too much. It doesn't feel out of place if the rest of your home is not maximalist yet, or if it doesn't intend to become maximalist. That's a nice way to mix some patterns as sort of, a starter kit.
Well, and that's interesting you say that, because I had a white, kind of boring bed skirt in one of our guest rooms, and I was looking to change things up in there. And so I went and found a really beautiful striped bed skirt that's got green and peach and pink in it, and it's really pretty. It has a little bit of something else in there too, but it's really pretty. And when I put that on the bed, it really made a massive difference. It added color and pattern to the room, but I couldn't go with anything too wild because I have big floral curtains in there. So the stripes worked very well. As you were saying, stripes go with just about everything, and it's a way to add pattern without too much going on, and they do mix well with a lot of other patterns.
And gather the florals. Florals, natural motifs in abundance, definitely a hallmark of a maximalist look.
Another thing that I like to do in a room is add a standout piece. And I like to have a standout piece or a wow piece in every room. You don't need a room full of wow pieces, but just one piece that's really unique, beautiful. You can get a really interesting antique or vintage piece that's kind of one of a kind. Or you could take maybe a boring piece and paint it a really fun color. There's so many different ways to do this, and it doesn't even have to be a piece of furniture. It could be something else. I one time had a really big clock, I guess a grandfather clock case, but it was painted in a Venetian pattern with all these kind of exotic ancient figures on it, and it was all hand painted. It was so stunning and unique and beautiful, and it really was hard to miss it. So something like that, you're not going to miss, and it's going to really add to a room.
Indulge in a little drama or even a lot of drama. Go for bold color is a good start to add some drama to a room. So you can do the walls, of course. You could do the ceiling, which we love, or just maybe a piece of furniture. But I would do a bigger piece. Like if you've got some built-in bookcase or something like that. And if you really just want to test out whether or not you want to be a maximalist or you like the color you chose, the inside of your front door is a great place to just begin adding color. Sometimes your entry is a little dull. We have episodes on how to decorate your entry and what should be there and how you can make it stylish, but sometimes it's a smaller area or it's onto itself. It might be dark. So adding some bold color on the inside of your front door can be spectacular. And I get this question a lot when I suggest painting a front door. People want to know whether or not both sides have to be the same color. And no, they don't, but I would consider whether or not you leave that door open a lot. So think about how you use the front door. If it's mostly just shut, then you go to town. If you're going to have it open, then you might want the outside color to also work with the inside, because if it's open, you're going to see that a lot more as well. So that's a place that I think you can really just sort of start trying out more color, and then maybe you're going to get on the road to become a maximalist.
So another thing you can do is use patterned tile. Now, this is not for the faint of heart. This is not for someone who's really nervous about resale. It can be bold. It can be semi-permanent. Our kitchen has some pretty bold tile in it. I did not pick it out. It was here when we got here. But I like it, and I think it's fun. It's just a 2-color pattern, so I think that makes it easier for people to live with later on.
Agreed. And, if you're a longtime listener, you know that we generally suggest and advise that you do some classic tiling, even our, the white subway tile, which is so great. And then you can go to town on other more easily changeable items if you get tired of it. But as Anita's saying, if you're somebody who knows you really want this look and you want to add bold color, whether it be on a backsplash in a kitchen or floor tiling, you could do a black and white tile floor, which is going to add a lot of interest rather than just doing it one color. Or you could do the little hex tiles and, drop in some of the tiles are either black or green or blue. They have a variety of colors and that type of tile. So you could sort of go into it and maybe, a half a step rather than all the way doing some bold red tile. Hey, we'll be right back with the rest of the show, but keep listening so we can continue bringing you DTT. So have you tried Dupe yet? If you haven't, come on, dupe.com. It is going to be your new shopping best friend. And it's not just for furniture. I know I've shared with you about my coffee table dupe, but you can save money with Dupe on fashion, shoes, jewelry, and more. I just used Dupe to find an absolute perfect twin of this t-shirt that I wanted. It was an $80 t-shirt. I was not going to pay $80 for a t-shirt. Dupe helped me find the twin, like maybe the exact same shirt. Find something you love, and then you can find replicas, twins, and maybe the exact thing for so much less. Give Dupe a try today. It is really so easy to use. You just type dupe.com / before any product URL in your browser, and voila! It instantly finds you less expensive alternatives. They even have an app and a browser extension you can download. No account is required. No sign up is required. It is completely free. I know, can you believe it? But it is completely free to use. Stop wasting money on brand names and start saving with dupe.com today. Don't be afraid to maximalize in a small space. Going max is actually better in a smaller space. Think about it. You can use, less material, obviously, in a smaller space. That's just a practical concern. But also, you don't have to cover this entire large living room. I mean, this is a hard look to pull off in a big open concept. There's just be almost like a circus feel to it. It might be just too difficult to do. It might not come off the way you imagine it in your mind, but picture a powder room or a small office. That's a space where you can really go to the max and use these maximalist design techniques and tips that we're giving you today and create an amazing space where it's drenched in color and lots of pattern, but it feels enveloping rather than feeling overwhelming.
Patterned curtains are a great way to add maximalism to your home. And I used to be one of those people that went with the solid curtains, and I tended to go with very soft colors, kind of close to the wall color. And I'm not doing that right now. I have found so many gorgeous patterned curtains that are beautiful. So there's so many choices. Why be boring?
Oh, I like that. So many choices. Why be boring? That could be the tagline for today's episode. Pattern drench. We've talked about color drenching. You've probably all seen that. It's sort of been a trend for the last year or so, where you're painting the walls and the trim all the same color. Well, if you're a maximalist, you're going to take it that one step further. And so pattern drenching, you can use the same pattern in different ways in the same room.
Yeah, there's so many different patterns you can use for pattern drenching. It's really a whole fresh new vibe now. It's not the frumpy old toile thing, although I love toile still. But when people did the whole room in toile, I mean, that does look very, 1993 or something?
Yeah, or even earlier. Yeah,
I'm not trying to do it with toile, but there's so many other patterns. I think it would be really beautiful to do that with.
Footnote, we do love toile. And there are
Yes.
like some very whimsical toiles now. I mean, I've seen doggy toiles. There's New York City toiles. There's different toiles that are really darling. But I do love, the original country toile as well. But yeah, the pattern drench is kind of a la Nancy Lancaster. I've talked to you all about her with her pine hollyhock, which is her favorite fabric and my favorite fabric from Schumacher. And her rooms had pine hollyhock everything: sofa, draperies, pillows, chairs. So this was an older look. I mean, very old, and then really came into being, I think, in the 80s. And now we're seeing it coming back again. But as everything, it's not exactly the same way. So as Anita's pointing out, maybe then it was big chintzes, which is what the pine hollyhock is, or it was toiles and it was everything. And now it's a lot of different kinds of patterns. So, but even if you went that far, you might need a consult with us, okay? If you're going to go that far, we want to hold your hand. But even if you're doing a whole pattern drench with some fabric that you've absolutely fallen in love with, you do want to add in a little bit of something else to sort of break it up. Or you're not even going to be able to tell the difference between your curtains and your sofa or your chair, like where to sit. It all looks the same.
What about stacks of books? I think this is a great idea to add this look to your home. And this has a much more maximalist look rather than just using a riser if you put it under something. But just put your favorite books around. I have a stack of some of my current decorating books that I'm looking at now on my kitchen table.
Like what you said about your dishes, now they're going to be on this console and you're going to be able to see them. And so that makes you a lot more able to just grab them and use them. I was invited, this is a long time ago, but I got invited to a big event at P. Allen Smith's home and garden.
I remember.
Yes, in Arkansas. It was an incredible 4-day event, and it was just amazing. And I learned so much, and just being there with all these different bloggers and gardeners and garden designers, it was very immersive. But the home was incredible. And something I was not doing at that time was using my dining room table sort of as display. We don't sit there that often. We often eat at that marble table that I have in the kitchen, not the island, but the table. And I was always having something pretty in the middle and maybe a runner, so I didn't just have one little solitary thing there by itself. Maybe I had a candle on either side, candlestick, something like that. P. Allen is a maximalist, but very tasteful and very well done. I mean, if you can get, and maybe I can find some links of the interior of his home and add it to the show notes. It's beautiful what's going on there. And I'm sure it's still beautiful today. But his table really struck me because it was also that he had sort of a casual dining area and then this dining table, which was kind of slid into the living room. It was kind of, an older home. So I'm not going to call it open concept, but it was in the same room. So on this table is a gigantic silver bowl filled with it seemed like thousands of green apples. And I was like, check, green apples. Definitely going to decorate with those. Okay. Right.
They're
because
great.
Maybe at that time I was just doing lemons. I'm like, green apples, of course. Gorgeous. And that green is so pretty. And then instead of just having, the bowl and then a candlestick on either side and a runner and calling it a day, he had stacks of decor books, then with something on top of them. And then maybe another smaller bowl or stack of, I think it was a stack of maybe silver trays or a stack of beautiful vintage plates, sort of feeling like at the ready. And, you're saying, well, maybe that's kind of looks like a store. It didn't. It looked like, because I feel like he really used those items. He might walk by and grab an apple, or he might say, oh, hey, I want to look at that decor book, 3 down from the stack. He seemed to really use the items that he had out there and probably rotated them. And so I adopted that. So it's just like when you go to these showcase homes, or even if you're just kicking tires and you go into some open houses, you can pick up ideas. I picked up so many ideas from being at his home for those 4 days, from, the outside to the inside. And this is definitely one that has stuck with me. So right now on my table is a big black transferware bowl, which is gorgeous, which can be empty because it's so pretty on the inside, but I do fill it with fruits and things like that. Then I've got trios of candles on either side, varying sizes. Then I've got a big stack of decor books. And when I say big, it's because the books are pretty big. There's probably 3 or 4 high. And then a candle on a little silver coaster on top of that. And the other side, I have a smaller bowl. And that's where I've got some of these green apples right now. And it looks great. And a runner under everything. And it doesn't look like I'm playing store. And it's a long expanse. And we often see in consults or in RIL, as they say, in real life, people's big, long, pretty dining tables, and there's just one little dinky thing in the middle. You've got a lot of real estate there. And so if you want to be a maximalist, that is a great place to start playing around and putting other things on there that would add to the beauty, the interest, and express your personality.
Another thing that I really like to use are vintage textiles. And this is going to give your room a very unique look. You can use a Suzanne, a Cantha quilt. You can go on eBay or Etsy and find some sort of vintage or antique bedspread, tapestry, you name it. There's going to be something really unique and beautiful that you can find.
Hey, that makes me think of, Anita, did you check out that Instagram account I sent you the other day when you mentioned Suzanne? Did you have a look at what I sent you? Because that place looks really cool. It's That Rebel House.
Oh, no, I haven't seen that yet. I'll check it out.
Yes, but I came across this account, and she has a shop, so we could link this too. It's called That Rebel House, and she has just what you always talk about, these gorgeous Suzannes. She uses them as wall hangings, and she throws them over furniture. Oh, you're going to love it. Check it out.
Oh, great. Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah. What's another one? Oh, cluster your art. We're not fans of the gallery wall. If you're a longtime listener, you know that. It's hard to do. Can be great when done well. But let me emphasize again, hard to do well. But clustering art is a different thing. You're not having maybe, 9 pieces or 11 pieces. You're maybe having 3 pieces. So a little bit easier to handle, and definitely dipping your toe into the maximalism look. So instead of putting 1 framed piece, put 3 on the vertical, or even 2 on the vertical. So because sometimes the piece is just not big enough for the wall, or do like a little, air quote triangle. You put 3 pieces together, and then maybe as you go along. And hey, I'm talking to everyone like they haven't tried this maximalist. Maybe you're already there. Maybe you're already halfway there. Maybe you're totally maximalist already and you're getting just extra tips or you're nodding along. But if you are just starting, clustering 3 pieces of art together that work together, maybe some chunky frames, and they don't all have to match, of course, but they have to speak to each other. And you will know if it speaks to each other. So clear off that dining table I just told you to put stuff on, and take some pieces of art and lay them down together or lay them on the floor and see if they're speaking to each other before you decide to take the hammer to the wall. But clustering them is a great look. And sometimes just going on the vertical, which is super easy. You just kind of want to get the spacing right, check where you have to put the hook, see where it is on the back, and do your measuring and all that. As long as they're separated by the same amount, you're done. That's pretty simple.
You always talk about the 5th wall, the ceiling. And what about wallpapering that or painting it in a contrasting color? I think this is a really fun thing to do. Most people have white ceilings, so it really is something that we just ignore. So why not try that in a fun color? And I think you'll be amazed at what it does to your room.
Oh, for sure. Recently with a client, we did Farrow & Ball Yakitori wallpaper with the stiff key blue background. So it's this deep blue. And I know everyone says, oh, I say it all the time, I'm not a blue girl. But personally, I'm not a blue girl. I like blue. It's a beautiful color. The sky's blue, the ocean's hopefully blue, but I just don't use it as my own palette. So I recommend blue a lot for clients, obviously if it works in their house and they love it. So we did the Yakitori, and it has these little gold, kind of like if a kid was drawing a seagull or a bird, that's what it looks like all over. It's very simple, but it's a small repeat pattern in her small entryway. And then she has, now I think you defined tray ceiling the other day, did we?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so she's got the tray, so the ceiling goes up, but then there's a trim around it, which kind of creates the tray, which is really the edge of the tray. And I had her paint the edging, the crown edging of the tray ceiling in a metallic gold. Wow! It looks amazing. Wow. And we didn't do the little, it's a small entryway. We didn't do the recessed tray part because it had a fire alarm and it had a can light, so it would have been sort of pocked with those things. So just leaving it the white was the right move. But just doing the trim, oh my gosh, it brought this little area to life. And then we did a mid-size starburst mirror, a vintage one that she had on the wall. It was spectacular. So just three things.
Absolutely. It sounds absolutely perfect.
It's so good. And it's just kind of like brings in that color that we did some wainscoting in the dining room, but I won't go further in. But it just kind of introduces all of that, what's to come in the rest of the house with those colors and just a little drama. So it almost like a powder room, like we were talking about before, going maximalist in a small space. We did that to the extent we could in this small little entryway, and it really, really works. Another thing you might want to think about is sort of akin to clustering the art, is to highlight your collections by grouping them en masse. They look so much more impactful. They are so much more impactful when, and I'm always curious about that word. Is that actually a word, or people just started using that word?
Yes.
I held off on that word for a long time, but somehow it comes to mind. So impactful, whether you like it or you don't like it, it is impactful to group all your things together. So like me with my ironstone pictures, I don't necessarily just have one on its own ever, unless it's a super big one. I group them together. And so that's a real maximalist look.
I think that's a great idea. These are all wonderful ideas. Do you have any more?
Well, I'm going to refer everyone back to our trims and embellishments. I think it was skirted tables, trims coming on back. Not too long ago, we did an episode on that, and I think that would be a great complement to this episode. So, Anita, can you link that in the show notes for everybody?
Of course.
Yeah. And of course, layering rugs. We do mention that all the time, and you don't have to be a maximalist to do that. It's just a great look, and it definitely gives you that designer feel.
Are you ready for a nice review someone left for us?
Absolutely makes my day. I'm sure I've read it a few times already, but I love to hear them out loud. You all, thank you so much. You just have no idea how impactful these reviews are.
There you go.
With regard to getting the show seen and or heard by more ears. So, and the way it makes us feel. Because we talk a lot together, and we feel like we're talking with you, but you can't say anything back to us unless you get a consult, really, or you email us. But this way, we can hear what you think about the show, and it makes us feel so good. Thank you.
Yes, this is from Edie, Vermont. So Edie's review is titled Fun and Informative. DTT is my escape pod. Woo! Especially when I get overwhelmed by the news podcast I listen to.
This is what we want to be. Thank you.
I know. Well, and I was thinking an escape pod like a spaceship, but I think maybe she just meant podcast.
I think maybe a little bit of both. What's going on in the news? Yes, good.
Right. So she says she likes to listen to it when she gets overwhelmed by the news podcast she listens to. The ladies are always full of good, actionable ideas that are reasonable that I can apply decorating my home. So thank you so much, Edie.
Thank you so much, Edie. What are we defining?
Well, just something very practical. I thought it might be interesting to talk about vent pipes for a minute.
I've been waiting. For this.
You have just been waiting
Wow.
for the day I would bring up the vent pipes.
Today is the day. Let me mark that in my diary.
Okay. Well, every house has them, but do you know what they do? Don't say vent air.
That's what I was going to say. The obvious answer is often correct.
Well, that is correct, but why do you need to vent the air? It is venting air into the drainage system, preventing vacuums from forming that could slow the water from flowing down your drain lines. So this proper venting ensures that each fixture has its own air supply, which you need to prevent losing water seals and plumbing traps under your sink and toilets. And I don't think I need to explain why you don't want to lose that. So
hang on to that.
That's right. So it's something important that you never think about, but you definitely want in your home.
Ah, good to know. I love knowing all those sorts of things. Okay, what is your crush?
Well, you tell me your crush.
You want me to tell you my crush first? Okay.
Yeah, tell me your crush
All right,
first.
well, don't tell my mother this crush.
Uh-oh.
Because
Okay.
this might be a Mother's Day thing. I mean, it is going to be. I'm being coy. But Venus de Fleur, remember? They used to advertise with us. They were a sponsor. And we got those beautiful arrangements of the everlasting roses. Well,
Oh, yes.
yeah,
Yes.
I mean, lovely. And mine are still going, and that was many years ago. Super expensive, though. So
Yes.
I was very glad to get that gifted to us while they were a sponsor of the show. But they have now the most, I don't know how to say adorable. It's adorable because it's small, but it is beautiful. They've gone beyond the black cardboard box that they had, which is
Yes.
sturdy cardboard. But this is their Le Mini Globe heirloom wicker arrangement.
Oh.
And it's mixed hydrangeas and roses. And, it's not cheap, but it's $149. So I know I send flowers to my mom fairly often. I'm going to spend more than that on something that's going to last a week. This is going to last, I don't know, could last forever. I don't know. They say they last a couple of years, but it's been years since I got that box of yellow roses from
mine
Venus
are still
de Fleur.
fine.
Keep them
Keep them out of the sunlight, though.
Keep it out of
That's
the
helpful.
sunlight. Good idea. But this is so adorable. You'll love it. Round wicker little vase. And then it does have very tasteful, their logo kind of on an Hermes type of ribbon. It's brown with white
nice.
whip stitch
Nice
on
touch.
it. And it says Venus et Fleur. I think I said des Fleur before. It's et Fleur. And it is 7 by 9. So it's a pretty good size. If you take your tape measure out, 7 by 9 is not too diminutive. And it is just so pretty. It's got pink roses, a white rose, and then some kind of when hydrangea dries to that really pretty mellow sort of biscuity color. It's beautiful. And you can send it anywhere in the country. So I'm not sure when one's coming out. I hope we haven't passed Mother's Day, but if we have and no one got you anything you want, get this for yourself. I love it.
Or you can get my crush.
What is
That's
it?
right. It is the Scrub Daddy paste. So I was listening to another YouTuber because when we bought the house, there's these hard water stains on the glass doors in the showers.
Uh-huh.
And so how am I going to get that off? I've kind of worked on it. It wasn't coming off. And then I saw a video somewhere where somebody suggested try this Scrub Daddy paste on there with the Scrub Daddy sponge. And I did try it. And lo and behold, it worked very well. It's not all gone yet, but I think with the scrubbing or two, it'll be all gone. But most of it is gone.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm pretty impressed with that. That was pretty worthwhile for the amount of time I put into it, that as much of it is gone as it is. So I'm going to highly recommend that. And I've included a link to it. So, and there's a whole bundle of stuff. So
if you're buying yourself a Mother's Day gift, get the bundle.
Well, why not? Just
Okay,
go ahead
I don't
and splurge.
I'm trying to see, is my eye roll audible? Or I think you're all getting where I'm going. Okay, well, there you go.
Well,
A little something for everyone.
Get it for
today.
your loved one who maybe cleans the bathroom for you, or maybe that person will do it.
Oh, maybe, because that sounds like a good arm workout and kind of fun.
Yeah, there you go. It's an arm workout. Yeah,
What's
it's your
it called?
arm day.
Max Daddy?
Scrub daddies.
Oh, I wanted to call it Max Daddy because that kind of goes with our episode. Okay, whatever. Lovely. This was fun. Okay, so let us know if you're going to the Max. Shoot us an email. Let us know how it goes for you. And thanks so much for hanging out with us today. And remember, we are here to inspire you to create a beautiful home. Until next time. Want to talk to us? Well, we really want to talk to you. So let's schedule a design consult. Anita and I are here to give you individualized, actionable advice on how to create the beautiful home you want and deserve. It's so easy to schedule a design consult with us. Simply click the link in the show notes or head to decoratingtipsandtricks.com/consult. When we talk to you on the scheduled time, we will be ready with so many great tips, advice, and yes, tricks. So sign up today for a design consult. We can't wait to talk to you.